What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to the African Fighters Podcast. I'm your host today, Farouk. Jibu is not around, and we'll have a very, very big brother here, our family friend, King Dems of the King Dems Podcast, a big contributor to the platform. Welcome, King Dems. Good to see you again. Good to have you here on the show.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Like I was telling you before we started the show, right? A lot of people are thinking I have replaced Farouk as a co-founder of the African Fighters. I'm like, okay, I am African, all right, but I'm not yet a co-founder. Yeah, it's nice to be
Yeah,
here
yeah,
with you, brother.
yeah. Good to have you, and thank you very much for being here for us. Supporting the platform and so on. Yeah, we truly appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank
Just
you.
a
I'm honored.
second to get a little bit. My camera is a bit shaky, so just want to get everything sorted out before we progress. So yeah, thank you, Kingdom. So guys, welcome to the African Podcast episode 42, and we're going to talking about Francis Ngannou. We're going to talking about RSFC 13, 19. Sorry, we're going to be talking about EFC 111 and a lot more. Tembo Gorimbo, our friend. But before we progress, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and also you can support us on Patreon at the African Fighters. So let's dive straight into today's conversation with King Dems. King Dems,
There's a lot
we're
to
going to be
unpack.
starting with.
There's a
I didn't get
lot
that.
to unpack. I said there is a lot to unpack. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
busy weekend. The
So
conversations.
yeah, we're going to start the show with Francis Ngannou. Really tough loss for Francis Ngannou. So for a defeat to Anthony Joshua in the mega fight teamed knockout chaos in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ngannou lost via devastating knockout in round two. And then tell us give us your take about the fight, the build up, the knockout, and is it what you expected before? Is that what you predicted going into the fight? Tell us about the fight.
Wow. To be honest, let me let me use the lyrics of Shake and Burner Boy. Sorry, and Fireboy, right? Them never see me coming. we never saw that coming, right? Like especially like that early.
Yeah,
Never,
yeah.
never. I feel like Joshua actually had a very very strong point to prove. Think about it, like this point of his career, right?
Yeah.
It was a big risk, low reward for Joshua, given his
Mm-hmm.
accomplishments in the sport, right? So he needed to
Yeah.
make a statement, and I think he just poured that aggression on Francis Ngannou, right? And I was discussing with one of our friends, I think Toby, yeah, Toby Adiremi. He was saying something that um, Francis Ngannou looked very good against Tyson Fury. Like Tyson Fury made him look good,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and Joshua was working with hindsight.
Yeah.
So he knew that if he did not take Tyson very seriously,
Ngannou.
Francis very seriously, right, there was going to be a lot of trouble. So, in a way, I kind of share that sentiment, that conspiracy theory that Fury did not take Francis very seriously and he was made to pay dearly for that. But Joshua, it was a different story. He took him very seriously. He had, a chip on the shoulder. He had a point to prove, and it happened. But despite that, keep your head up, buddy. Like he's won. He's won in life, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, he made $20 million. Some people will never make that money in the whole of their career. So it's a win-win situation. I think to be fair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with all you've said. Also, Joshua had one thing to do, one job to do, restore the image of boxing because it's kind of seems like Ngannou started getting a bit. I'm also an Ngannou fan. I'm an MMA guy. When Ngannou started getting a bit overconfident and also a bit how will I put it? There's this what I'm looking for. Like he started throwing jabs at AJ. You have weak chin. I don't know if that's part of promotion to sell the fight. kind of get a bit disrespectful. I'm going to test your chin. And he said that straight to AJ's face that it's going to be a knock. I'm going to knock you out, which is good. They're not going to come there themselves, kiss themselves. So we know that's part of the fight video. But I think Ngannou got that humbling. He used to be the guy dishing this out to people. But this time around, first time ever, you can see Ngannou look like, in Nigeria, in our broken, like when they pour you for water for body. That was how Ngannou was throughout after the fight. Like he was like shocked, completely shocked. So
shocked.
So where do you see Ngannou going from here? Do you see him fighting, taking another boxing fight, like another cash grab against Deontay Wilder, one big paycheck before leaving boxing, or do you think he should go back into go down, fight top 20s in the boxing heavyweight division, or move to MMA? There's a fight with Renan Ferreira, the PFL Bellator Unified Champion. So beating Renan Ferreira will be a good one. So what do you think? Before I give my take.
To be honest, right, I think he has unfinished business in the world of MMA, and he looks quite committed. Remember, myself and Jibril Aminu, we went for the press conference in London, right?
True.
Yeah, we met them. We shout out to Dewey Cooper, right? He's a great guy, and he's now a friend of the house, right? So basically, for our discussions with Dewey Cooper, he's like Francis is actually committed to his PFL contract, right? So I believe he's going to go back to honor that commitment. But man, I am actually very scared of that Renan Ferreira guy. Like, I don't know, I rarely ever get scared of human beings, but two heavyweights right now that send shivers down my spine right now are the Brian Ferreira guy and this Payne guy, this new guy in the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
If it's Rob this Payne or something.
Those guys, the Cuban guy, the newcomer.
The Cuban guy. Those guys look like freaks of nature. Like I wasn't scared of your Romero when your Romero was around, right? But those two human beings, like I am 6'0", like I consider myself at least above average height for the average human male. But when you see certain people, I saw Francis Ngannou in person. I saw Anthony Joshua in person. Like that these guys are going to smoke you. Yeah. They will smoke you. You think Ferreira, I feel like it's really going to be a tough matchup, right? And if Francis Ngannou is able to prove himself against Ferreira, right, I think he would after that come back to boxing. But I think that's going to be against like a top 20 guy. Maybe like a Dillian White, Eric Chisora kind of person. Yeah, that kind of. He would want to test himself and stash the cash, grab the cash.
All right. Okay. So if you're watching us live, you can drop your comment, join the conversation, and I will pick you up here and discuss, share your thoughts, and also, okay, one more thing before we leave the Francis Ngannou's topic. Do you think this defeat against Joshua now is kind of going to give other fighters in MMA that second thought? I think this guy is beatable because almost look like he's the one with the weak chin now. I don't want to take jabs at Ngannou. But he called AJ having he had that. They say AJ had something chin. I can't remember the exact.
A glass chin.
Not glass. He used the word glass, boy.
Weak chin.
Say weak chin or something. But from what AJ did, make it look like Ngannou chin is not that great. So do you think fight like Renan Ferreira will be like, I think that there's something here because another defeat for Ngannou is kind of going to be very bad. So in my opinion, I think Ngannou should kind of stay in boxing. I think he's a good boxer. A lot of people believe AJ said that to him after the fight that stay back in boxing, you can do it here. So I think he should take the likes of Deontay Wilder.
My question back to you is, what did you expect AJ to say?
No, nothing. Because AJ is a humble guy, but we know. Yeah. You mentioned something at the start that Fury wasn't prepared. Fury, no matter what the Fury that showed up, is supposed to be able to give Ngannou a tough fight. Ngannou should be scared. But everybody believes Ngannou won that fight. So Ngannou is a decent boxer. Ngannou is a top 10 heavyweight, whether I like it or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Fury, what very few were able to do to Fury. So how many top heavyweights have knocked down Fury? Not and Chisora, not Dylan White.
Mhm.
You get
And those
not
are
even not
heavy
even
hitters.
not even the guy AJ fought last time. What is his name? The guy AJ fought Otto Wale. None of them have dropped few apart from Deontay Wilder and Ngannou. I think in his earlier career he also got dropped down twice. That's Fury. So okay, so that's why I think Ngannou should get one back in boxing against top 10, top 15, then go back to MMA. Because if you go back to MMA now, boxing fans will come for us and say, oh, he got scared, he ran back to MMA. That's what they will say. That's what they will say. So I think you should stay back, get one back for us before coming back to MMA. That's my opinion. But anyways, what round this topic up after this second, what do you have to add before we move to the next topic?
Okay. That would be a fantastic one, but then I think that he's short of time. I think they have a planned date for the PFL matchup sometime in summer.
No, but do you think he's going to come back to boxing in the near future?
Definitely. Come on, he's an African man. African men love money, so you always want to grab the cash.
Okay. So the next one is about African fighters. A rough month so far for African fighters. Abdalla lost, Gift Walker, Cedric Doumbe. Also, let's not look at the negative alone. We also have some positive, some other Africans shine in the month of March, and I will come back to this topic properly into proper context. But I'm going to start with the positive. In EFC 111 on Thursday, Zulu fought Gift Walker for the EFC Flyweight title. He was the bantamweight title, and then he is the bantamweight champion, and then fought for the flyweight title, and he won the title. He submitted Gift Walker in round 3 via guillotine choke. He is now the first ever EFC double champion. So, what do you have to say about it? I don't know if you saw the fight. What do you think about his achievement as a person?
I did not see the fight, right? But then I heard about these achievements. I followed my people, in South Africa. Shout out, my people in South Africa. Haibo, you guys are great. So it's a great one, and I see him transitioning easily into the UFC, right? And I see UFC Africa becoming a stronger possibility. I don't know if you saw Drika talking on Cameron Simon's podcast recently, right? And then he's talking about how he's pushing for the concept of the UFC Africa. So really, Dricos was meant to be on 300, but then he actually missed. He deliberately declined that opportunity in order to set up UFC Africa, right? So watch out for Zulu being on being in the UFC on that card. And of course, I don't know if you have seen the names that are on the the Ultimate Fighter list, right? That's to be coached by Valentina Shevchenko and Alex Grasso. There are 2 South Africans on that list.
Right?
So, Mahoum and some other guy, right? So that is to tell you that the South Africans are coming into the
they're coming. And especially Team CIT. Shout out to Team CIT. Even Zulu is also a Team CIT guy. He trains with Dracos and the team there. Demarte Pena also started training with Team CIT. So Team CIT is going to be like the hub. It's going to be like the boxing gym very soon. Shout out to those guys in Africa. And also, just to talk about Zulu a little bit, he's a legend. That guy is one of the greatest when it comes to African MMA. He is a flyweight great. He is a 3-time flyweight champion with 3 title defense. Also a 2-time bantamweight champion, and now the first ever EFC double champ. So incredible achievement. Shout out to you, champ. And also, I don't know if you know, that was earlier. I can't even remember. I know I read it. Let me know from I know the history. I saw somewhere that he competed at TOF. That was in 2008 or 9. Yeah.
Oh, really?
The ultimate fighter. Yeah.
That's a long way.
He was one of the first African guys from EFC to move to the UFC at that time, but he didn't get the contract. He didn't get to go to the big stage. So
definitely, he's grown since then.
Yeah. So another guy also briefly, we can just talk about him briefly, is a sensational fighter from Congo. His name is John Jacques. Also shine on his EFC debut. He defeated Nerik Simons in the EFC featherweight division. So and Nerik Simons is the legend, not legend per se. He's He's how do you call this? How do they put it? I'm looking for this word to use. He's a top fighter, not a novice, not an up and coming. So
It's a
for a
veteran.
guy like Ginger Quinn to go in there and win via split decision, he's still undefeated 9-0. And a lot of people are already talking about him getting the title shot. So I think that's a nice one for Ginger. Well, he before now he fought across West Africa. He fought at WSC, OFU. I think they were planning to give him a fight for in the AQ. I don't know because they talked about him fighting the AQ. Well, now it's in EFC, the biggest league in
Biggest in
Africa,
Africa.
doing well. So shout out to you. Wish you all the best. So moving on, we're going to touch on the AKO Championship, um, owned by or co-owned by Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare. Former pound for pound UFC great, UFC welterweight, former UFC welterweight champion, and future UFC welterweight champion. I don't want
Wow.
Kamaru to come from
Future UFC Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Okay, no welterweight champion, Hall of Famer.
Future
So
Hall of Fame.
AKO returned this year after a long break last year with the championship AKO3 event, just to continue the championship they started last year. So the aim is for them to crown 5 champions at the end of the year. They have 5 divisions at the moment: light heavyweight, middleweight, lightweight, featherweight, and also women bantamweight. So these are the 5 division, 1 women division. And the event they put up 9 fights in the last event. I don't know if you saw the fight. What's your take about that event, and can you got an overall review of that event? The good, the bad, and your grade.
Yeah, I saw the
Okay.
promotions, right? Like they're really improving. That's what I'm going to say. Like looking at AKO1, AKO2, now AKO3, like the improvement is there, and that is fantastic to see, right? And there is a bright future for Nigerian MMA. And I don't know if you know about the fact that there is an arena that is currently being built in Lagos right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lagos Arena. Yeah.
Adrian Ogun, we met him at the press conference in London, and then he told us about the great work that they're doing with that. So by the time AKO4 is up and running, right, hopefully they should be able to use that arena. Come on, they're great. There's a great possibilities, right? Great potential for Nigerian MMA. We have a lot of raw talents, right? And now we even seen, other fighters from other African countries participate in this competition. So what else do you want, right? The organization, the logistics, the commentary, right? Apparently has improved right from the inception. So I only see better things happening for AKO going forward, and big ups to them for the great work that they're doing.
Yeah. I see in terms of fights, they've been doing well, bringing fighters from across Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Egypt as well.
Congo as well.
Congo are doing very, very well. I will have fighters from Cameroon and so on. So they're kind of touching across the whole of Africa, the continent, and it's good. I'm also hoping to see some fighters from South Africa, but I know they are all interested in going to EFC, so maybe that may be the difficulty in them getting fighters. But AK are doing well. I'll say the last event wasn't that bad. The commentary was good. I watched the whole event, I think about 4 or 5 hours, and also the matchmaking, the good fight. There are some fighters that are not at top level at the moment, but overall, I can score AQ a 70 over 100. The fans turnout was a good event. I think I would say one thing I like about the AQ so far, when it comes to pulling fans, pulling the audience in Africa at the moment today, they're better than the EFC when it comes to bringing fans. So it was full packed house arena. So yeah, so we look forward to AQ4. Yeah,
sorry to chip this in. Nigeria, they carry last.
True. At all, I draw.
Always remember.
So yeah, so shout out to AQ, shout out to Kamaru Usman. We're proud of what you're doing for Nigeria, for Africa MMA, and we look forward to the next event, AQ4. I think they announced that it's going to be happening in May, so don't miss that event, please. So moving on to
PFL. Everybody wants me to come back to Nigeria.
moving to PFL. I don't know if you saw the massive controversy that happened on Thursday. PFL happened earlier.
I did not like it. I did not like it. It wasn't making sense. It wasn't making sense. And it's crazy how people were not messaging me about this. Like, what? I'm like, excuse me, like, I'm not. I don't understand. I'm not a
You're not a
promoter.
PFL executive. You're not
I'm
a
telling
PFL
you,
executive.
like, why are you guys messaging me that there was glass in somebody's foot? They were asking me like I was the one that put the glass in that
You're
place,
not
asking me how did he get there?
you're not PFL executive. So yeah, talking about that, I'll put it in proper context for those who don't know what we're talking about. PFL Europe happened on Thursday. I was thinking it was Friday as a PFL event. I missed that event. I had to go back and see what happened. So PFL happened. Cedric Doumbe, the biggest draw in the PFL at the moment, behind Ngannou, fought another Frenchman, Baki, and it was the main event of the welterweight division. And it was a good fight. Although I believe Baki was doing well. I think Baki was kind of cruising to victory. Performed very well. He dropped Doumbe twice, fought takedowns and takedowns with activity. Doumbe also dropped Baki, I think, once. It was a very, very good context, very good back and forth. Their stance, their wrestling grab, and all that. So it was a good fight. Up until the third round, where Cedric Doumbe called the attention of the ref, McGoddard, and like something's in my toe, and the ref like carry on fighting. Doumbe was about to continue, and he could not continue. And Mark Gordon was kind of angry and then waved up the fight. And apparently Doumbe was injured. There was something in his leg. I think they call it splitter, which is glass basically. So there was a kind of glass in his foot or something. So like you just mentioned, how did the glass go to his leg? What happened? Can you just walk us through them about this whole thing? And about Mark Goddard, I'll put the questions all to you. I want your response. Do you think MMA referees, there should be a process where MMA referees kind of look at situations and give timeouts? I think if it was Hebdin maybe listen to Doumbe and see what's wrong before waving up the fight. Mark Gordon looked like he was too emotional. He got angry and just waved up the fight. This guy's complaining about something. What if the glass in his foot get to injure the other guy, the opponent? That would be more dangerous. For example, we don't know what was the incident. Let Doumbe continue carried on with the fight, and then got the other guy injured with glass in his foot, maybe hitting him somewhere not proper. That's my own look at it logically from my own point of view. So what do you think about the referee? What do you think about them waving off the fight, giving it a TKO loss to Doumbe? And what do you want to see happen going forward? Please tell us. The floor is yours.
Okay, so to start with, I think I was pissed off at the organizers, right? Like health and safety. I was speaking with William, the CEO of Tribe Combat Sports earlier today, and then I emphasized health and safety. That is something I do not take lightly personally, given the fact that I am a professional, right? Health and safety is very, very important. So, like, who were the guys in charge of health and safety for that event, right? Those guys have a lot of blame to take, right? You need to protect the octagon. You need to ensure that the octagon is inspected before and after every fight, right? So everybody has a role to play in organizing events. That's why when people complain that UFC does not like going to different locations, right? It is because there's a standard to be protected, right?
True.
You need to ensure that the proper inspections are done, right? So probably the required inspections were not performed, and that's why you could have like a strange object, a strange material straight into the cage, right? Now, in terms of the referee, right, I really can't put more blame on him because there are times, where fighters, create certain antics to distract the fight, to distract their opponent, to distract even the referee, right? He couldn't have seen it, right? And statistically, what's the probability that, the ref would have known that, there was something on his leg, even though he was trying to complain, right? From what he was watching, right, there was nothing wrong. And it's not like it was very visible. You had to take a very close look at the leg to see that, there was a splinter there. So the ref was just doing his job. He was just doing his job. It's combat sports, and the refs have to be no nonsense. They have to be disciplined, right? So you really can't blame the ref for what he did, right? So going forward, PFL need to take their health and safety measures like very, very seriously, extremely seriously, in order to prevent a recurrence of these kind of things. But in terms of the rules, right? The rules are the rules. The referee's decision is sort of final, right? But then I want to see a situation in which you can have review, because I think in the UFC there are like certain review officials that review certain situations. Sometimes you see the helping or Matt Goddard or any referee would go to the review team and also advise before like giving a final decision in terms of like waiving of the fight or in terms of issues that relate to health and safety. So in terms of that kind of a situation, the fight would have had to be paused, and then a doctor, a ringside physician, right, would have to step in and maybe assess whether the fighter would be able to continue, and they remove the glass or whatever it is on his leg, right? But then apparently, if they're taking the safety measures, right, seriously, that wouldn't have happened. But going forward, they should try to set up a review team to review these kind of incidences on the spot and advise the referee accordingly, because this is fighters' careers on the line, and also people's monies are on the line. A lot of people stake money on Cedric Doumbe to win that fight, and they're losing it for very flimsy reasons. The law is at stake in sports, right? And it's just sad. It's sad to see, but hopefully we can learn from the mistakes of the past and do better in the future. That's my take on this PFL situation right now.
All right.
You still there?
All right, King Dem. Sorry about that.
I lost you for a moment.
Yes. So, okay. I think I agree with you, because we should not blame the referee that much. Even though I think Mark Goddard has been making a lot of mistakes, I think he's too emotional for me on my liking. I don't think it's. Let me not lay too much. I get your point. The organizer should look into this properly. But do you think they should roll this fight in no context, or do you think the victory should be for Baki? What's your take with regards to that? The score.
So in these kind of situations, what I know about the rules is, was it a 5-round fight or a 3-round fight? I know some of these.
It's a main event,
a 5-round. But I know sometimes is it Bellator people like have 3-round main events.
3-round main event, yes.
Yeah. These other guys, you really can't tell. But when it comes to UFC, yeah, that is my brand, right? But one thing I know is, if the fight has proceeded beyond the second round, right? Typically, what they would do, they would judge the fight up till the moment of the stoppage and see like who was actually winning the fight in order to make a decision, right? So Baki was winning that fight, right? That decision should actually stand. But if Cedric was winning the fight up to that point, there is a reasonable cause to appeal for a no contest. So
no contest. Okay, yeah, I think you're right. I agree with you on that. I just checked now while we were talking, and it was a 3-round fight. So 3-round fight. Yes. So yeah. So okay, moving on. So how do you see Doumbe returning? Do you think it's a setback for him, or do you think it's just one of those things that happen in the fight game?
It's just one of those things that happen in the fight game, and when he's coming back, he will have a very massive point to prove.
Okay. So, moving on to the next topic, we're going to be looking at Ibrahima Mane as well, who also scored a split decision victory on his PFL debut, same event, PFL Paris, against Naso Pedro. So in that fight, I don't know if you saw the highlight or the full fight. I also missed that fight, and it was a tough fight for Mane. Although he's stepping up into the bigger league, and he kind of struggled a little bit and almost got submitted, guillotine choke, but he survived that and won via split decision. What do you think about Mane moving to PFL? He was supposed to be the next contender for the RS welterweight title. So he was supposed to be the number one contender, but I think he got the bigger move, and he felt going to PFL is better than just staying in RS. What do you think?
So, Of course, I am Nigerian. I tend to answer questions with questions. But that question I will ask is, if it were you, what would you do if you wear these shoes? Come on, everybody wants to play the bigger leagues, bro. So you can't blame a man for aiming higher in
Agree.
life.
No, I agree. I agree.
You
I
can't
agree.
you, you can't
I
blame
agree.
you can't blame a man for aiming higher in life.
Yeah.
If you're not fighting
Moving.
in the UFC or
Mm-hmm.
Bellator or PFL, in a way, you're sort of like wasting your time as an MMA athlete. Let's
And
be
like you
very
mentioned,
much practical.
bigger pay, bigger name, bigger, more attention, more fan
Yeah,
base. So
more
yeah, why not?
visibility.
More
Yeah,
visibility.
so why not?
So okay. Now another fight. Moving to another promotion. We're going to be looking at RSFC 19 also that happened on Friday, the same day with the Joshua Ngannou fight. So kind of a lot of distraction this week. We're all looking towards that Ngannou fight. So
My South African boy.
RS19, Demarte Pena, the Angolan, right? Yeah, based in South Africa. He lost his bantamweight title to Lee Scott via unanimous decision. Was a tough fight. Demarte Pena also after the fight was kind of emotional. Did a short Instagram video talking about the fight, his he injured his bicep, and also apologizing to the fans, which I don't think was necessary, but I understand he just care for the fans and want to always make sure he give us a good fight. And yeah, so but aside one for the Mate Pena, we hope to see him back soon and also hopefully maybe get that big UFC call. But it's hard to move to UFC with a defeat. But tell us what you think about Mate Pena performance and losing the title.
It's not impossible to move to the UFC the defeat, because I remember Themba Gorimbo. I think he lost in UAE Warriors, and then I think
No, he
he
got one victory back. He went
then he
to
got victory back.
yeah,
Yeah, so this is also a possibility. I think the Mate Pena was in the EFC before as well.
yes.
Before like moving to
Also AFC,
RSC.
another AFC great, another African great. Yeah. Yep.
Yes, and I've followed the story for quite a while, right? He's a great guy. He's got great skills, and I feel he's got like great potential. That guy's got great potentials, but everybody have bumps, in their journeys, right? Actually, I feel this is just a bump in his journey, and with UFC Africa looming at the corner, he's one of those names that I have been putting towards Dana White. I have Dana White on speed dial right now. That's why we're the UFC champion, apparel. I'm a UFC champion. So come on, the Martin Pena is on that list, right? So if you check my black book, let me show you the book. I'm not just gonna tell you. Right?
Oh, okay.
In this book I've been listing the names that are going to come to UFC Africa.
Yes, Africa. Okay. So where's the venue? Where's the potential venue? I know that's for another discussion for another day, but what is your potential
We,
venue? Is it Lagos
we're
Arena?
currently no, he's in South Africa actually. So we're thinking about one of the stadiums. Come on, South Africa hosted the 2010 World Cup, and then they have massive stadiums. So we're trying to see how to create it into like an arena setting, and have that indoor setting, and
You didn't tell
just
me.
a massive program.
What's your current role in the UFC? I didn't know you were part of the executive.
Yeah, I'm not an executive. I'm just an advisor. I'm just a consultant.
Okay.
I'm
Look
just a
forward to,
consultant.
we look forward to that. Also, another
Yeah.
guy I want to give shout out to is also another Beninese very good fighter, Sheriff Drami, who also got a KO victory over Angelo Dos Santos in his RS return. When RS started, he was one of the few fighters who debuted in RS the first time they started, and he got back. I think he also is a fighter in the AKO Championship in Nigeria. I don't know how they work out the deal. Maybe he has also left AKO for good, like you just mentioned. Bigger deal, bigger promotion, bigger achievement, bigger name. So he's currently now in RS and got that KO win, I think in the second round. So shout out to Grammy. We look forward to keep watching you and see your progression, your growth, and wish you all the best.
Greater heights. Greater
Yeah,
heights.
yeah. So moving on now, this is your floor. I think your new nickname should be Specialist of UFC. So them
Whoa.
we're going to the UFC 299 that happened last night, so this morning.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, so
Damn.
UFC 299, and we'll start with the main event. The main event, Sean O'Malley put a masterclass on Chito Vera. Walk us through these games.
that was a masterclass. Right. I love his interest on if you are what you say you are, a superstar. And then he proved it. I am one of those people who actually followed his rise to
His
stardom.
progression. Okay.
Yeah, I think there was one card. Yeah, on the card where he beat Peter Yan, right? I think I had like all the fights on that card correct. And he was a massive, massive underdog. I don't know if you remember because I usually post, my fight, my fight bets,
I know.
on our
Yeah.
Instagram page. And I bet on Sean O'Malley, and everybody was like, "Why? Why this guy?" I had seen the potential right from time, so I'm not surprised what happened. What happened with Chito in the other fight? It was a fluke. And statistically, like how many times would you have to you know, land a calf kick that would disable somebody's veins, somebody's what's it called? Is it not the vein, but the nerve? Yeah,
Mm.
it's one out of 10,000 times, right?
Mm.
So he got that lucky shot. But skill for skill, style for style, Sean O'Malley would smoke Chito Vera 8 times out of 10. So I'm
He
not
showed
surprised.
yesterday. He showed he put on a
My money was on Sean O'Malley, and
I
I
think.
was
Sorry, carry on. Sorry for
yeah,
interrupting.
but what I was surprised at is the chin, the durability of Chito Vera. I thought he was going to crack. Look at the knees, right? I thought his skull was probably going to crack or something, but then big ups to him, credit to him. That man is a warrior.
Yeah, we
Of
know, we know,
sorts,
we
yeah.
know about Chito Vera chin and his durability. I think he has never been knocked out before in his entire UFC career. I don't know. I don't know if it's or his entire career in general in as a whole. So we knew that he's going to be durable. And in my own mind, I was thinking that was one way he's going to break Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is going to get tired in the later rounds, the championship rounds. But O'Malley did what he was supposed to do: use his height, use his long limbs, his hand, everything. So he kind of outclassed Chito Vera, like you mentioned, 8 out of 10 times. Sean O'Malley win. But what about the last reaction, the body shot, in the last second of the fight? If that had come up earlier, do you think that would have been over for O'Malley?
Yeah, so I think Marlon Chito Vera, he was gun shy.
Yeah.
Like what he did in the fifth round was what he should have done in the second round.
But it's also not easy for him to do that. We make it look like it's easier for him. He could not close that gap. He could not close the space.
Yeah, so
Sean
the
O'Malley
problem
was touching him,
so the
jabbing him.
problem with Chito,
Yeah.
right? I've been watching Chito for a while, right? Chito is a slow starter, and
Yeah.
I don't understand why you would continue that kind of pattern in your life, in your career. He was a slow starter against Corey Sandhagen, and it cost him dearly. He even apologized to his fans, right? Because really, Chito versus Corey Sandhagen, he should have been more competitive, right? And when you look at the frame of Sandhagen, tall, lanky bantamweight, similar to Sean O'Malley as well, right? Like make it a brawl, like close the gap because this guy knows how to use his distance, right? If you allow him, see what he did to Aljo. If you don't close the gap, Sean O'Malley will punish you. But look at what Peter Yan did, right? At first, he was piecing up Peter Yan, but when Peter Yan closed up the distance, he was able to punish Sean O'Malley, and that fight was very, very close. It was razor close, to be very honest, because I think it was a split decision win for him. So exactly like that is what Marlon should have done. If he had closed the gap right from the first round, right, it would have been a more competitive fight and find a way to drag him to the ground, because if you drag him to the ground, you're neutralizing Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is known as a striker, but then come on, his jiu-jitsu is quite good. Marlon's jiu-jitsu is quite good. Well, it's all in the past right now. Let's hope we can see a trilogy to settle the series.
I don't think we're going to get trilogy. I think
never say never.
Yeah, never say never, but I think O'Malley has kind of ended that conversation of a trilogy. This was a beatdown, complete beatdown from start to finish. There were some few punches. Marlon Vera got some chances, some but he never seems to put O'Malley in trouble or got him worried throughout the fight. So I think
Because
that
he had lost from the first round. He you know,
mm,
he tries to get your reads, right? He tries to read your pace, right? Get your timing in the first round. But come on, you've lost round one already. That's never a good start. But then if you start with Sean O'Malley with a strong pace, with a fast pace, put a pace on him. Let's see what will happen when he fights Merab. And then
yeah.
you're gonna see what I'm saying.
So that's my next question. So is Merab the next guy to fight? He called out AH
That's a
Korea.
logical choice. That's a logical choice. If not because of Aljo, Merab should have fought for the title already.
Mm, mm. So
I don't think.
how do you see that fight going? Do you think Merab is up to the task? Do you think he can cause problem
Whew.
for O'Malley? He's a grappler,
Uh, to
and
be
he
very, very honest with you, I
mm,
love Sean O'Malley a lot, right? Given the fact that I have followed his rise to stardom, and
mhm.
I resonate with his story of rising from grass to grace. I think if there's anybody in the top 15 bantamweights right now that can beat Sean O'Malley, the name is Merab Dvalishvili.
Mm.
His style is
Okay.
a nightmarish matchup for Sean O'Malley. Pressure, that pressure that the other people do not bring to him. Because really, look at what Strickland did to Adesanya, right?
Mm. Mhm.
People who are fighters that use space management, distance management, range and timing. If you close the gap on them, right, you would confuse their game. And that is exactly what Merab is going to do. So I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a fun matchup. It's going to be a killer fight. Kill or be killed. Or I think Merab has that, strong chance against Sean O'Malley to get the job done.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're going to progress to the co-main event of that event, UFC 299. We'll not be able to go through all the fight, but we're going to be looking at some key fights, the co-main event, and also the debut of MVP. But now we'll be looking at the
MVP.
next fight between Poirier and BSD Benoit Saint Denis. Is that fight a great fight? Is that fight a contender or fight of the year? What do you think? Walk us through that fight, the whole progression, and also was it? I don't know, because at some point before the fight, sending is a lot of people see him as the guy that's going to come and bully the lightweights, but it seems Dustin Poirier showed him that there's class to this game. So tell us
Yeah,
what you think
very
about that fight, how and walk us through the fight.
Before the fight, right? Poirier was actually the underdog, and I had my money on Poirier because I knew, come on, the experience does not match up. Number 3 versus number 12. Poirier has been a dog in this game for. He's a veteran, basically, right? And I knew that the lack of that top level experience was going to be a disadvantage to BSD. No disrespect to him, he's a very tough. He's a very tough guy, right? But then you cannot buy experience, so to say. So in the first round, right, you saw what happened with him trying to bully Poirier, right? It was clear that he was a stronger fighter, right? But then he couldn't take advantage of his ground control.
Mm.
So Poirier sometimes, when he's trying to chase a takedown, he's going to he'll jump the guillotine. And even though his corner, his coaches, advised him not to, jump the guillotine, right? But then he was always, going to that jumping guillotine, and it was a constant, danger for BSD.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you notice BSD was continuously chasing the takedowns.
Mm.
And Poirier, even in the second round, got up from the takedown. So basically, it was BSD being the better man on the ground and Poirier piecing him up, on the feet. And
Mm.
when, the opportunity came after the disengagement from the clinch, right? Poirier took that chance and found his chin. And it was
Talk
lights
about
out.
that. Talk about that knockout, incredible knockout. What about the follow-up? Was that necessary?
In the words of Jorge
Fans
Masvidal, that was super necessary. That was super necessary, brother.
Also, to call the fight of the year contender, do you think the fight was is worth fight of the year contender? I don't see the fight at
It's
that
too
level.
early.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
too
too
early.
early. It's too
So
early in
yeah,
the year, right? But it was fight of the night, and I think that was well deserved because DSE is a killer. Remember, the
he's a
guy
good
is
guy.
he's
Yeah,
a military guy. There's this
yeah.
MMA group, with some US guys that I'm in, and then you're like, oh, this guy is a real killer. And then I was teasing them saying Poirier is a fake killer. And then at the end of the fight, I was like, the fake killer killed the real killer. Right.
Mm.
You get it, right? This guy is tough as nails, right? He has been to war, he has served in the military. So come on, his mentality is different.
It's
It's not a
different.
normal human being like yourself and myself, right? So he had that mental fortitude. But in a way, I think everything just aligned to favor Poirier. Was
Was
to
it
be
too
honest.
soon? Was it too soon
No,
for him to send Denise?
I think it's just a matter of fate and circumstances. Let me let you know something. BSD actually was recovering from a staph infection leading
Mm.
to the fight, and then he was on antibiotics recently.
Mm.
So I think he wasn't at 100%, but there's never an excuse for failure. Poirier was clinical on the night. And I think everything just played into Poirier's advantage. So big up to Poirier. I think you beating that scary young up and coming contender, right, gives you an opportunity to be able to call for the title shots again. That's what earned Strickland the title shot the other time. He beat Abuz Magomedov, an unranked guy, very scary, right?
Mhm,
That
mhm.
same thing is happening right now. So I don't know what's going to happen with Gaethje versus Holloway, right? But barring whatever happens in that fight, I think both parties are actually going to be severely injured. So
Mhm.
it means that Poirier has a clearer sight, clearer pathway towards a matchup with Islam Makhachev.
What about Poirier taking on Gamrot? Is that a good one for Poirier? Do you think it's a
It
like you
doesn't.
say a high risk no reward fight, or do you think
Yeah,
it's a fight that
it's a high risk, low reward. High risk, low reward. Come on, you've given this guy, you fed him an up and coming killer. Why do you want to? Do you guys want to see him lose? Come on, give him a chance to
can
go
Poirier
for the
get a title
title.
shot anytime soon? I think Poirier has fought Islam, right? He has fought Islam.
No, he fought
No,
Khabib.
not Islam. No,
He
before
fought
Habib, not
Khabib.
Islam. Also, if not, yeah,
Yeah,
yes, okay,
yeah.
yeah. So there's that chance to get of fighting Islam for a title once again before maybe call it a day. Yeah, but before
Yeah.
progress, we have our friend here, our boy Christopher Graham. Great to have you guys back. Thank you very much, Chris. It has been a busy month for us, February slash March. JB is not around, and that's why I'm here today to host. May not be as interesting as you guys used to because the main host isn't here, but we just like they say, the show must go on in MMA. So yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Chris, for the support. Thank you for showing us love for the questions as well. Some of the topics here were sent to us by Christopher Graham. So thank you very much. So now moving on, we're about to round up because Demola is going to be catching another train to another podcast very soon. I think his own podcast live. He's having an interview
Yeah.
this evening. Please move
Yeah.
from here to Dem's podcast, the King Dem's
Uh,
podcast, to
yeah,
support our boy
yeah,
Demola. So now we're going to talk about another big fight on the night. MVP finally in the UFC with a win in his
yeah.
debut.
Wow.
Talk to us about that fight. And do you think he should fight Wonderboy next? Because I think he's going to be ranking top 10 at the moment. Definitely, he's going to be in top 10.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
yeah, walk us through the fight with Kevin Holland, how he outclassed Kevin Holland, and the fight. Do you
Damn.
think Wonderboy is the next fight stylistically for two strikers, two kickboxer, Wonderboy karate, MVP kickboxer. So how do you see? Just walk us through the process. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So tell us about the fight and then potential future fight.
Yeah, like MVP, this flashy style. I think he was an underdog going into the fight, but again, he's one of my correct picks. I picked him to win. I picked MVP to win. I think the person who I picked to win that did not win in the main card was Gilbert Burns. Right, I picked MVP to win, and it's crazy how his style was able to frustrate Kevin Holland. First round, it was like a chess match, right? It was crazy how he was using those flashy techniques to hit Kevin Holland. And Kevin Holland wanted to be more serious about the fight. It's crazy how Kevin Holland is usually the troll. But when the troll gets trolled, it is a different situation. So clearly MVP won the first round. The second round, Kevin Holland came in, stronger, and even Dana White thought that Kevin won the second round. But I think Kevin won. I did not win the second round, right? I feel MVP won that second round because in terms of the damage, and look at the trips he was giving him. Like even when Kevin is trying to, take him to the ground and use his jiu-jitsu, right? MVP will trip him and take him to the ground. And it's crazy how those flashy little techniques that you don't see coming take you to the ground. And the funny thing is when he goes to the ground, he doesn't follow him to the ground. He tells him to get back up. And those trolling tactics, those tactics are very frustrating. And
that's how he fights MVP,
Yeah, we know.
But that's but like you just mentioned, seeing him bring that at a high level fighting
at the high level fight
in his debut, where you're supposed to be very serious to get that.
Embarrassing. It's embarrassing to Kevin Holland. In the third round, Kevin was not trolling as well. He was just but he knew he had lost the fight. But I'm not happy that he just gave up so easily in the third round. It was like he wasn't putting in an effort. But who I want to see him fight next, that is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You said my mind. I want to see him fight Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. It's going to be a crazy matchup, clash of styles, right? Striker versus striker. Aside from him, the only other person I probably would like to see him fight is maybe Jacques, like Mono. But
so do you think because he has said this all along from the start that the moment he was signed to the UFC, he kept on mentioning his compatriot Leon Edwards. I want that title. I want that fight. I think UFC has set him on that part. He's not a novice. He's not an up and coming. He's not a 10-0 fighter. He's just going in there, take 1, 2, 3 fights and get to the title. Do you think a fight against Wonder Boy or Jacques, like you just mentioned, that would be a very tough fight against a grappler in Jacques and against a striker in Wonder Boy? Do you think a very good win against these guys will put him up there for title shot against Edward?
Definitely. He needs to beat one of those guys in the top 7.
Okay, we'll see what MVP does next. I'm also kind of like a fan of the guy. I wasn't a big fan of him, but I like his persona, his confidence. Coming to a fight on his debut to perform like that, it shows you the guy can go anywhere in the world. It's what class. So JB is here. Thanks for strolling in. The show must go on with a laughing emoji. All right. Yeah, I think I'm hosting the show better than JB. I'm letting my guests speak more. So now moving on. Lastly, so we're going to let you go soon. Temba Gorimbo is booked against Ramiz Brahimaj at UFC Fight Night 242 on May 18 this year. Temba Gorimbo is having a good it's on a good form. 2 fight winning streak at the moment. He is going to be fighting Ramiz. So what do you think about this fight? Ramiz is 10-4, has a record of 10-4. I think he's from France. I'm not sure of the country of the guy. He's from US. He's from the US, and
easy win.
Easy win. Okay. So do you think this fight? Put Temba in top 15 of the welterweight division? Temba also on a mission. He mentioned that a couple of times. I'm 3 fights away from the title shot or 2 fights away. He believes he's going to get a title shot this year. Nothing is impossible. I believe. I said that sometimes back. I don't know if Temba is watching. Temba will not be happy with this. I believe realistically, in my opinion, next year. But Temba is a guy who see vision, who see a lot of things. Anything is possible. Something may just happen, and they say, "Temba, are you ready? Take title shot." So I believe anything is possible. They say impossible is nothing. Adidas, come sponsor us, please. So, so,
So
so yeah, Chamba can get it. Anything can, but I believe realistically, this fight for me is that fight that if you can go in there like he did in the last fight, turn the light out of this guy Ramiz, he should be in the top 15, and that they will know that a new guy is is
a
around.
new sheriff, a new sheriff is in town.
A new
So
sheriff is in
I think that fight either places him at number 15 or at the brink of the top 15. And I think the next fight he will be having will probably be a top 10, ranked opponent. I don't think he's going to like start from the bottom of the contender list. So I wish him well, and I hope he's able to make a statement with this one, just like he made with Pet Rodriguez, and the future is bright.
Yeah, so your prediction is it KO or submission for Chamba?
KO, bro. KO, bro. KO.
Okay. We look forward to that
first
one.
round.
Yeah, and also sorry guys, we were not able to touch a lot of topics. Christopher Graham also sent some topics, but I believe this is what we have time for today. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week, and we'll try to keep the show because of Ramadan. We'll try to do the show earlier, 5-6 in the coming weeks before we go back to our normal schedule of 8 p.m. So guys, like you all know, follow us on social media platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook. We're on all social media platforms, and also you can catch us on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Finally, you can support us on Patreon at the African Fighters. King Dems, closing remark, and also show love to our friend here, our guy, our analyst, King Dems, the King Dems podcast. Go there, subscribe, and show love to Demola. So, any closing remarks before we leave, Demola?
Wow. Excited about what's going to happen in the future, right? So, ahead of April, UFC 300 is coming. Don't blink.
So what fight are you looking forward to for UFC 300?
The main events. The
Main
main
event.
event and the top three. Come on, those top three fights, massive. But the whole card is wild.
Okay, we have some few comments here. Oh, from the Fight Week Showcase. Big up, lads. Thank you very much, Fight Week Showcase. And also another comment: smash the like button if you reading this. All right, thank you very much for the support. We truly appreciate you. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. So, Dems, tell us what you're doing this week. Your podcast. Who is coming on the podcast briefly before we sign out?
Oh wow. So I have 2 minutes left before I jump onto my podcast, right? So who is coming? I am talking to Ryan Ford. Ryan Ford is an MMA champ, he's a boxing champ, and Joe Rogan, praised him on his podcast recently.
Awesome.
So the guy is a warrior. He was fighting with a broken arm in one of his fights. So I can't wait to hear this guy's story. It's all about sharing the stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And this is one guy who is doing extraordinary stuff. So he fights in the World Series of Fighting. So I can't wait to share that guy's amazing story.
Also, we'll be tuning in to join your podcast to support you. Thank you very much, Kingdoms, for sure for joining us. See you guys next week. JB will be back. Thank you guys. Bye for now.
It's bye for me. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Come on, Africans!